Hey, everybody, what's going on? What's good? It's a rainy day here in West Virginia, but we're going to take it and we're going to make something good out of it because that's what we do here on the homestead. Just because it's raining don't mean that the work stops, and just because it's raining don't mean that you can't get out there and do something, okay? Or when it's hot, you still got to work, right? I'd probably rather work in light drizzle than the heat that we've been having lately. You know what I mean? That's been horrible. Tell me how it's been in your part of the country. Has it been cool? Has it been hot? Has it been a drought? Has it been a lot of rain? It's weird how things are from year to year. Last year we had tons of rain, miserable year. This year, no rain, super hot, just nasty, nasty, nasty weather. But it had come all of a sudden because it had been a very cool year all the way up until that point, right? So the last 2 weeks have been miserable hot, but before that was cool. I mean, it just wouldn't get hot at all, right? Couldn't get it warm enough. But I digress. So today we're going to do a couple things, and I'm going to explain to you some things about this old gal right here. We're going to clean it up, and we'll turn you around. We're going to show you what we're going to do, and then we're going to talk about this pumpkin. It's probably the most special pumpkin that we've grown in this patch this year. Guys, so this pumpkin's really nice. It's a very young pumpkin, doing really good. Not a very big plant, but we're having some stem issues here. And so we got to get that cleaned up, and we got to get it addressed because it's just it's not good. Not good at all. And then we got a couple pumpkins up there, probably need to prune them off and stuff. We're going to have to prune some of these leaves off as well, so because we got to get a fan in here and get a fan blowing on this. I've got a special fan that I use just for my pumpkin stems. It's different than the rest of the fans that I have. I generally use it on the stems. I didn't use it on the one up there that we have right now going, but I generally do use these. I got 3 of them, and you know, because that's usually all I need is about 3. Usually all the pumpkins don't all have stem issues, and if they do, I'll just put a different fan on them. But you can see here, it's kind of rotty like, and it not really rotted, but it's just kind of sapping, right? And sapping is just where it's pumping so much nutrients in and growing. But it's weeping and causing some nastiness going on. We need to keep this dry and get it hardened off, because it will continue to rot. It'll continue to draw bugs to it, and we don't want that. We want this thing to be healthy and good, and here's why. We're going to talk about this pumpkin real quick, and then we'll get to fixing it up. So this pumpkin here is special. Last year, I had a friend whose daughter was having 500 seizures a day, and she was put in the hospital. Long story short, she ended up succumbing to it and passing away at a very, very young age. You know, I think she's 14 or something like that. Very sad, very tragic. And I named that pumpkin, though, when she went in the hospital. I was naming my pumpkins, and I named that one Kenzie. And Kenzie had some issues. The pumpkin, Kenzie, had some issues with her, and we grafted a tertiary vine to it and kept her alive and growing and doing well. And I used that pumpkin to make a little bit of money. It wasn't a lot, it was a little bit, but I was going to give, if I would have won a competition with it or any of that, I would have gave all that money to the family for medical bills and funeral expenses. We didn't really make that much, but I gave them all that we did make off of that pumpkin. this year I said, you know what, I'm going to grow that seed again. I gave him some of the seeds out of Kinsey and stuff, and he can keep them or grow them, whatever he wants to do. But I do have some, and I took and I grew one, and this is off of Kinsey. This is off of the Kinsey pumpkin that we grew last year, and so I was trying to think of something good to do, and because I really, me and my wife, we lost our first child, and so we know what it's like to lose a child. It's very sad. It's heartbreaking, and it never really goes away. That heartbreak and that sadness never goes away, right? And so I wanted to do something good for him, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to grow this pumpkin as big as we can get it, and through end of to the middle to the end of September, and we will gift this to them. I'll get the seeds back out of it, and I will always grow from now on. I will either grow the original Kinsey seeds, or I will grow seeds that are out of the Kinsey seed line, like this right here. This would be out of the Kinsey seed line, out of the original seeds. Now this is crossed with a different pumpkin, but that's okay. It's still out of that original seed line, and I will always try to keep it as true as possible. And so what I'm going to do, though, I was sitting there and I was thinking, what could I do good for people, right? Because that's just really the base of my channel. The base of us as a family is what can we do for people that are around us? What good can we bring and joy can we bring to others, right? And so I was thinking, and I thought, well, what I'll do is for every year from here on out. Now this one's going to go to the McCoy family, but next year, what we'll do is we'll try to come up with some sort of a process, and we will gift one of these pumpkins to a family who has lost their child. Okay, whether that was through premature. Whether it was through miscarriage, illnesses taking your child, something, some kind of tragic incident, right? We will grow the pumpkin, and we will grow it for that family. I don't know how the process would work to try to pick one. I can only pick one every year. I can't, give all of them up every year, but I want to do that for people, right? And so we're going to try to figure out on the off season how to do that for people, how to gift a pumpkin to a family who's lost a child. We'll name that pumpkin after that child, right? And they're going to have to understand, though, the pumpkins don't always make it to the end. I will give it my best shot, and I will try my hardest to get that fruit to the end as big as possible. It just might not happen, though, right? But they will be allowed to have all the photos and video and all that stuff to keep as a keepsake of their pumpkin if it doesn't make it. Now, if it does make it, we're going to try to deliver it to them. The thing is, the McCoys live here in West Virginia, so it's not hard to get it to them. But let's say, there's a family, Pennsylvania or Illinois or Kansas, somewhere, crazy like that would want to, a long drive that would want a pumpkin for their child. We would have to try to figure out how to get that to them. And so I wanted to let you guys know as a community that that's what we're planning on doing, and we may need your help. Let me hang on one second. And like I said, we may need your guys' help, in the future, getting these pumpkins delivered. Gas ain't cheap. All that goes into it, trying to get it to the, hotels and all that stuff. So we may need the community help to try to get these pumpkins delivered to people. So if that's something you might be interested in, please let me know. We don't need anything right now. We're good. But next year, I don't know how we're going to pick it or what, but let's say, we pick somebody that might end up being a little further away. We may need a little bit of help with, getting that pumpkin delivered to them, for gas and hotel and all that, so we can get that pumpkin delivered. The only stipulation that there is that the seeds come back to me. I will give them some seeds out of the pumpkin, definitely, but the majority of them will have to come back to me. That way I can continue to grow and do the seed line. So that's the plan. That's what we're going to do. But right now, I want to try to get this cleaned up. And so what we do, let me show you, turn you around here. Okay, so all we do is come back here with a little knife. Okay, let me see here. Oh goodness. Try not to hurt the pumpkin. All right, let's see. You gotta go. You're messing up my view. I can't see through you. Is we just scrape the bad stuff away, right? Just scrape that bad out. Just like that. The rest of it seems pretty good there. It's still rooted into the ground. I think we're good. There we do that. Give me the bleach, bro. Where'd you go? My helper took off on me. Take a bleach water. Set that down real quick. And you spray it down real good, disinfecting it. All right, and then leave it sit there for about 30 seconds and then take a white towel, pat it dry, okay? Now, I'm gonna have to get in here and trim up some of these leaves off of here because we do have to get that little apparatus right there. See that wooden table looking thing? We have to get that over here because that's what's got the fan on it, and we'll put that over here and start getting this dried up. You'll see what I'm talking about. It's a inline fan with a dryer vent hose on it, and it's directional, so you can put it directly on where you need it at. So let me get it all set up and I'll show you what it looks like. So here's our inline fan. All right, and then we got our dryer vent hose, comes all the way down through here, and it's blowing directly on our wound right here, and that will help tremendously keeping that dried off and stuff. This is going to be quite a challenge here because we're going to have to eventually continue to push this around that way and get this vine away from it, and we'll end up hopefully not putting a kink in there. But we just do a little bit each day. We just slowly push it around. It's kind of heavy. Let me show you. I'll push it around and I'll show you what we got. You can see there where the impression was. And we got it away from that vine. Every 2-3 days, we just keep scooching it this front end this way more. Go up the hill. We keep packing sand down here on this bottom side to keep it from trying to roll downhill. We don't want it misshapen. We want to keep the same shape we have. It's a really nice shape so far. We want to keep that shape, so we keep pushing it up the hill, piling sand down here on this bottom side to keep it from wanting to grow down the hill on this side and make it an odd shaped. But so far so good, and we'll just keep this cleaned out really well and keep that fan on there, and that fan will dry it off, keep it good and dry, and we'll be good to go. It'll heal up in no time, especially if this rain will stop in the next day or two. Now that we got the fan on there, it should dry up really, really fast, and we'll be all right. So that's how we do it. That's how we use this stuff. We can directional it any way we want, just like that if we want to. And there's a lot of air coming through there. I mean, a lot. So we can do it like that if we so choose, and leave it set like that right there, and it'll just do work for us. Keep some of the moisture away. So. All right, guys, that's all we have for today. Thanks for watching. We appreciate you, and we'll see you next time right here in the Hollers and Hills of West Virginia.
Don't forget to smash that like button, that notification bell. Don't get the
Good job. Here you go. Thank you.
Don't get the
Don't forget to share. Yep. There you go. Good job. And subscribe.
subscribe.